afternoon. Happy Friday, December 15th. Housing industry people, this is the week you have been waiting for the past 2 years. We have finally made it into Fed pivot territory. What do I mean by that? The Fed, in their regularly scheduled announcement on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, not only held the Fed funds rate steady, but in their language indicating a pivot, meaning no more hikes to the federal funds rate, and also a projection of a potential for up to 3 Fed funds rate cuts in 2024. You've been hearing all about when will the Fed pivot? It's time for the Fed to pivot. Why have they waited so long to pivot? Well, it happened this week on Wednesday. That is excellent news for the housing industry as mortgage interest rates have responded positively, improving affordability for the vast majority of those people out there seeking to buy a home. Why did the Fed pivot? Well, all of the economic data was pointing in the right direction, aside from the labor market. We've long been saying that the labor market is not going to break. Inflation is going to come down on its own as a function of the market returning to normalcy after the pandemic. And sure enough, that is exactly how it's played out. And maybe much to the Fed's embarrassment, they have not broken the labor market. They have not driven up unemployment. In fact, unemployment has actually gone down while simultaneously inflation has gone down. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This has been the week in mortgage-backed securities, a very good week. We've improved on the week from where we started. A lot of this due to the midweek information. You can see here on December the 12th, we got the consumer price index came in right at expectations, continuing to decline. We got the producer price index, what the manufacturers and companies are paying for goods and services. That was actually below expectations. The Fed holding the Fed funds rate steady here at 5.5% on December the 13th. But dot plot projections show a cut in the Fed funds rate moving into 2024. What do I mean by dot plots? Think about dot plots as asking each individual voting Fed member what they think is going to happen in the future with the Fed funds rate. So the Fed meets 8 times per year to announce any changes to the Fed funds rate, 4 times per year. So half of those meetings, they release their dot plot projections, where they basically hold the envelope to their forehead like Karnak the Magnificent, and they guesstimate where they think the Fed funds rate will be out into the future. Let me show you what this December's dot plot looked like. Here it is right here on the screen. I'll blow it up a little bit. And you can see each one of these blue dots is a voting Fed member. And here's December of 2023, everyone voting to keep the Fed funds rate steady here at 5.5%. But moving into 2024, you can see many of these Fed members, matter of fact, the mean has it all the way down here around 4 3/4 to 4.5%, maybe about 3/4 of a percentage point rate cut. And the biggest thing that you can take away from this is not one voting Fed member has a blue dot above where we currently sit. In other words, there wasn't one voting Fed member who thought, you know what, I think we might still have to hike rates moving into 2024. This is the first time that that's happened in this rate cycle. We're seeing every single voting member either holding steady and most of them saying the future holds some Fed funds rate cuts. That only bodes well for mortgage interest rates. As we move into 2025 and 2026, you can see what's happening here in terms of their projection. Hey, listen, I appreciate the fact that they want to give us 2025 and 2026, but it's very, very important to remember that in June of 2021, these same Fed members were forecasting a Fed funds rate of 0.75% at the end of 2023. In other words, where we're sitting right now, they thought a year and a half ago we'd be at 0.75% for the Fed funds rate. We're not at 0.75%. We're at 5.5%. We had this historic rise in interest rates to combat inflation. So take these long-term forecasts with a grain of salt. They don't mean a whole lot. What really matters is the fact that there's not one voting Fed member who says, we think we're going to have to continue to hike. They are all on the same page. That's the first time that's happened. That's why we have a pivot. To be clear, the Fed has not done anything yet in terms of rate cuts. This is the equivalent of the Fed driving the family truckster down the highway and turning in the back seat to the kids, which is all of us, and saying, hey guys, we're gonna stop for ice cream soon. Everyone's mood improves, everyone gets excited because there's something good on the highway, but nothing really about our current circumstance has changed a lot, with the exception of the tone and with the exception of the mood. And we're seeing the 10-year Treasury start to decline. That helps pull mortgage rates down, and we have the best affordability for housing that we have seen certainly in the past 6 months and really dating back into the spring of 2023. Extremely welcome news. Very, very good stuff. We're excited for what's going to come in 2024. If I can be of any service to you over the weekend, don't hesitate to reach out. Mark.Milam at highlandmtg.com. Thanks.